One of the biggest mysteries of the Boruto series revolves around the mysterious immunity of Sarada and Sumire from Eida's divine spell. They were first shown to be unaffected from her charm but decided to keep it a secret. But in order to help out Boruto, they revealed to Eida that reality shifting didn't work on them, but they are still infatuated from her. If Eida was smart enough, they should have made her suspicious of them both. The charm as well as reality shifting are manifestations of the Omnipotence ability. So if they are immune from one, there is no reason for them to get affected by the other. But just for the plot reasons, they made Eida and Daemon blind to this detail. However, the question still remains. What triggered their immunity to Omnipotence at first place? Neither they are Otsutsuki's, nor they were modified with any such thing which would have led to them being immune. Even though there are theories that the power of love can fail Omnipotence, and it's the feelings for an Otsutsuki which has kept them safe. I believe all these theories are trash. Omnipotence is a power used by someone who's above Otsutsuki's, which means he works beyond the emotions as well as the ethics of the human race. So saying that love made them immune is a hard pill to swallow. If there is anything which got them saved from the effects of Eida's divine spell, it must be something within her desire itself. Now some people say she wanted some real friends who don't treat her as someone special. That's how Sarada and Sumire ended up being immune. Well, it would have made perfect sense to me if only I hadn't noticed this detail from the manga. It's not like Eida wanted friends from the beginning. The lack of company that she felt during the cohabitation made her take this decision. If she had indeed desired real friends wholeheartedly, she would have unknowingly activated Omnipotence in chapter 76, but nothing like that happened. Furthermore, she knows having true friends can increase her chances of death, so why would she wish for any such thing? The most plausible theory for Sarada and Sumire's immunity, in my opinion, has something to do with Kawaki. We know both the girls are head over heels for Boruto, especially Sarada, who literally crossed the line by hugging him unexpectedly when he returned. Now imagine if they were not immune to Omnipotence. It would have made them love Kawaki instead, making it problematic for Eida. She subconsciously prevented a competition in love, which is what manifested into Sarada and Sumire being immune. It all may seem simple till now, but what makes this immunity of the duo way more mysterious is a setup statement from Momoshiki. It says that the immune from Omnipotence are the ones who suffer the most. If this is indeed true, then I believe that there must have been cases of Omnipotence happening in the past. We know Otsutsukis are already immune from it, so who were these special cases that Momoshiki was talking about? Could it be that he meant Otsutsukis suffer from Omnipotence the most just cause they are immune too? Well, if this turns out to be true, then Boruto and Kawaki are also doomed to suffer a lot just because they were unaffected. And I might be on the right track with this speculation cause terrible things have been happening to them both ever since the reality shifted. Boruto lost everything and Kawaki will soon lose his mind, a losing game for both of them. However, if it was a reference to the mankind specifically, then I have got some really interesting theories. But before that, please make sure you are subscribed to the channel for daily amazing Boruto content. My first theory has something to do with the Uzumaki clan and how they might have been wiped off by the Otsutsuki gods for some mind-blowing reasons. If you pay attention, the Uzumakis had replicated a lot of Otsutsuki techniques, which means they somehow stole it from the clan. But saying that the deities killed them for this offense and then brainwashed the whole mankind seems a bit problematic. They could have taken a similar approach with Kawaki if that was the case, but they didn't. Orochimaru and Amado should have been on their radar due to the miracles they achieved in celestial science, but just because it's nothing like that, this makes the fate of the Uzumakis a lot more mysterious. So what if this clan was somehow immune to the ability of those gods? That's why they decided to wipe them off. They are infamous for their exceptionally high chakra reserves that they inherited from Ashura Otsutsuki. So there's a good amount of chance for them to inherit some Otsutsuki DNA as well. Every Otsutsuki that we have seen in the story has got some really high chakra reserves, which means it's something which is predestined in their genes. This could be how they were able to replicate their techniques, even though it's unknown how they got their hands on them. We haven't seen any other Uzumaki after Omnipotence, so it's not completely impossible for this theory to come true. This means the Uzumaki clan suffered the consequences of being immune to Omnipotence. Going by this analogy, it could be that it's not the Otsutsuki gods who directly wiped them off. Rather, it must be the aftermath of Omnipotence, which altered the memories of mankind and made them kill the Uzumaki members. This is why Momoshiki said to Boruto there have been a lot of times when Otsutsuki gods have changed history. Maybe they were trying to hide something from the shinobis, but just because the Uzumakis were immune, they had to suffer a grim fate which turned them into an immortal example. Now that we know how deadly this suffering can be, let's understand how it will be challenging for Sarada and Sumire to survive in the future. Earlier it was believed the whole village shall be taking Kawaki's side, and just cause they are the only ones who know the truth about Boruto, it will be hard for them to see him getting ill treatment or even an assassination by the Leaf, even though it's pretty impossible because of the plot armor. But if you think about it, any mishap that happens to Boruto can literally ruin Sumire and Sarada, who truly loved him. However, now that Kawaki's lies are on their way of getting exposed, either with the help of Shikamaru or the interference of the Shinjus, the grim fate of Sarada and Sumire seems to be different than suffering over Boruto. It could be something which poses a threat to their mental well-being or life, but it must not be something tied to Boruto. For example, in Sarada's case, she could be hunted by Hidari, the clone of her father, which would expose her to a good amount of emotional and physical distress. Sumire, on the other hand, is an interesting case. Not only does Boruto has no idea about her immunity, but no one in the story is threatening her life. The Shinjus have their personal targets, and she never dared to confront Kawaki to be under his radar. It seems like she's playing the most safe game in the story, and the misfortune that she's about to face could be a consequence of being close to Sarada. If Hidari comes to kill Sarada, Sumire will obviously be with her at that time, potentially posing a threat to her life. However, her build-up and backstory from the anime tell a different story. She seems to have been experimented with the Gozo Tenno seal, which was supposed to replicate Kaguya's techniques, but she somehow freed herself from that curse with the help of Boruto. And she even has a yokai pet New, who was responsible for triggering the Jogen in the anime. I don't think if her character was supposed to be under the wing of Sarada the whole time, the writers would not have bothered to provide her such a narrative relevance in the anime. There must be something in the box for Sumire that will justify her whole anime build-up, so what could it be? Well, she seems to be really curious about the plans of Amado, so if he's actually up to something dangerous, she could be the very first person to catch it. But how would it lead to her suffering as prophesied by Momoshiki? Well, the answer is guilt. Apart from her contacts with Boruto, who might be able to save the world if something terrible happens, Sumire is basically powerless. She can't go against Amado or Kawaki at her own. If she tries to confront them, she would lose her life in an instant. By this we can conclude even if she ends up finding some vital information that could change the fate of the shinobi world, if she is not able to report it to Boruto on time, the village will have to face its consequences. And if something like that happens, Sumire will find herself in a pool of inevitable guilt and suffering. Finally, let's talk about some other theories related to the immunity of Sumire. It could be that the love theory that I mentioned, which hints at Eida wanting Kawaki only for herself, applies to Sarada only. In case of Sumire, she might have some remains of Otsutsuki DNA in her body as a result of the Gozo Tenno seal. This brings her closest to an Otsutsuki, making her immune to Omnipotence. A point to be noticed is that even Momoshiki is unaware of Sumire's reaction to the divine spell. He figured out Sarada is immune upon looking at her reaction, but there was literally no way for him to know about Sumire's immunity. So maybe the suffering prophecy was about Sarada and not Sumire, cause her immunity comes from some Otsutsuki DNA rather than a secret wish of the caster. Coming on to the final theory, which might explain why Omnipotence failed on Sarada and Sumire. What if all of this is a part of Amado's big plan? Think about it. He could have intentionally prevented the disposal of the overpowered cyborgs, cause they play a huge role in his 4-dimensional chess. He made Code Witness the hologram of Ishiki, leading to the Shinju awakening, and he could have manipulated Aida's desires, which in turn modified her manifestations. This means he himself made her fall for Kawaki, indirectly planning out the whole Omnipotence incident. He might have made Sumire and Sarada immune for some greater purpose that will be unveiled to us later in the story. I will soon bring an Amado Mastermind video where I will be going over some interesting theories, so don't forget to subscribe to not miss them, and also check out these videos for more amazing content. I will see you next time.